Hello and welcome back. I am Lord Revonworc, and today on Spotlight we will be playing Everybody Dies 2, also known as Banished. Jokes aside, Banished is, well, it's an indie city building game. I picked it up for pretty cheap during the last Steam Winter Sale. Find it, and I found it pretty fun, and I think you'll like it too. And what I mean by, Everybody Dies, is that, similar to FTL, the last game I dubbed with that name, things go fine when everything's good, but when things go bad, they go really bad, and people just start dying in droves. We're probably not gonna play long enough to actually see that, but anyways, I'm just gonna show you this. So, town name, I'm thinking let's call it Copperton, and map seed 1187. I see no reason to change any of these default settings. Let's generate our town. Okay, so, you may be wondering, what is Banished? As I indicated before, it's a city building game. Let's just, pause it, set the speed really high, because normally this game goes pretty slowly. And basically the story, from what I understand it, is you lead a small band of banished settlers in an early modern age environment, and I know it's early modern age, specifically post-Columbian exchange, because the crops that you have access to are both Old World and New World. And basically you've been banished. Nobody cares whether you guys live or die, so you need to survive on your own. And that's basically it. It's not a complex plot. This game focuses mostly on gameplay. And the first thing that we should do is get ourselves a source of food. So a farm would be a great thing. And also there are, like, a bunch of there are a bunch of stuff that you kind of want to make sure you have open. Just UI stuff. Normally, the only thing you can see is this bar down here, but there's a bunch of other UI stuff you want to have. This thing tells you your resources. Event log is good. Yeah, you get the idea. Anyways, we've got a bunch of laborers. Let's set some as builders, a few as farmers for when this finally gets cleared out. I'm having few extra builders because farm isn't going to be the only thing we want to build. We're also going to want, let's see. Sorry, it's been a few weeks since I last played this game, and I haven't played it extensively, so... But, yeah, here we are. You're going to, gonna want to have a forester's lodge. So, one of the first things you're going to want is, forester's lodge here. This is basically like a lumber camp. You want to get it centered firmly around a bunch of trees so you can get wood, but Simply gathering wood is not enough. You're also going to want a woodcutter, because apparently your people can't burn wood all by themselves. They need to cut it first to use it for firewood. But anyways, one of the big challenges in this game is the winter, because you need to make sure you have enough food and firewood stored up to prevent your people from starving or freezing to death, respectively. So naturally, it is quite important to make sure you get the essentials set in place first. You know, a way to get food, a way to get wood. Let's assign a few more farmers. And, we'll also just to tie everything together, want to get ourselves some roads. And so obviously you assign all your need to assign a type of food for people to work on. Hello? Okay, that was weird. So yeah. You need to assign your people jobs. We're going to want one woodcutter and some foresters. Those are the people who cut the wood. Well, who cut the trees, that is. And then let's see. We're going to also want to supplement ourselves with some additional sources of food. Let's see, is this... give me a moment here. I'm not too familiar with this game yet. Okay, here it is. Gatherer's Hut. Bit of a supplemental source of food. It doesn't give you a lot, but it will work constantly and through the winter, and will provide a greater variety of food for your people. So I'll stretch that dirt road out a little more. Additionally, and this isn't something that'll come into use right away, but since your people have health, you're also going to want to build an herbalist hut. And these people gather herbs from the forest. Now, as you can see, what with all the new jobs we've created all of a sudden, we are going to be running short on people to fulfill new jobs, which means before we can do much else, we're going to want to see some population growth. Now at the moment we've got 12 adults and 7 children. Then there are students. Students are basically children, but they go to school. And that's another thing that's a good thing to have because of education. So I think I'm going to build one of those now. And place that right here. And assign someone as a teacher. So at the, okay, so one of our kids aged up and we just got a new laborer who we can assign a job to. I'm thinking if we could assign a job, let's make her a gatherer. Now it looks like the bean farm we planted is fully planted, so it'll grow up through summer and we should be able to harvest it in full before winter falls. Meanwhile, just a minute, I think I closed the job list. There we are. Meanwhile, let's make sure we got plenty of roads. What's up with you? You're an herbalist? Ah. Okay, so we've got a few citizens running around with question marks over their heads. That means they have no jobs, or rather they've been assigned to jobs which don't exist yet because the buildings aren't yet constructed. For instance, the teacher with the schoolhouse and the herbalist with the, well, the building's also called an herbalist. And we are currently running short on logs. Now, obviously, one option is we can wait for the Forester Lodge to produce more, or we can manually assign our laborers to cut wood themselves. Oh, no, that's in this tab. Here we are. Let's cut down all the trees in this area. We've only got one laborer at the moment to do that, so it won't go. Let's also raise the limit on the woodcutter, because it's important to have lots and lots of firewood for when winter comes. So obviously this is a neat little game, and I must say that I do quite enjoy it. It's a city builder, so potentially you could easily get lost in it for hours on end, or at least I tend to do that when it comes to the city builder type games. So I'm going to try to keep this this play session rather slow, a bit low on food. That's yeah, that's problematic. I'm gonna want to assign another gatherer then, so that they can start providing us more food. Very, very bad if you run out of food. We'll get a ton when this farm reaches full yield, but we definitely do not want to run out before then. Also, there are a bunch of other, a bunch of other resources you need to take into account other than just food and wood. For instance, there's stone, which is used primarily for building things, iron, which is used for building things and also creating tools, which your people need to do work. I mean, technically they can work with their bare hands, by, I guess, Minecraft logic. Although I still don't understand how you get wood from punching trees. I mean, other than the innuendo sort of sense. Anyways, then there are things you need for keeping your people happy. And I will admit, I haven't played this game long enough to actually understand what is important about happiness, but I imagine it probably impacts something along the lines of the effectiveness of your people's ability to work. Ergo, I'd prefer to keep them happy, and there are two ways to do that. One of them is to build a tavern and produce alcohol, though to create alcohol, you will need to produce something that you can make alcohol out of. And, what I've found is most efficient is apples, so let's build an orchard. It's like a farm, except it takes longer for the trees to grow. But they do come back with a more constant and less high maintenance you know, goddammit, what the hell am I saying? Basically, it's an alternate source of food. And there are actually a lot of them. You can build fishing docks, you can build hunting cabins, both of which provide you with meat as well as pastures, which is something we probably should get. And then you can also trade for food, though I wouldn't recommend relying too heavily on trade for food, because the traders don't come too frequently. Okay. And apple, please. Oh. We appear to be out of workers. That's unfortunate. Is there anywhere we can borrow some workers? How about the gatherer's hut? Food's finally coming in from the bean farm over here. Oh, actually, you know what? I should borrow them from the woodcutter's hut since they're not working anymore. We've reached our cap for that, so I'll put that guy back on gathering detail. And so this orchard will build. We should also have this schoolhouse done pretty soon. Getting ourselves a notable stockpile of food for our people. And it's autumn already, you can see from up there, and I closed the job list again for some reason. I always seem to do that. Which means pretty soon we should have winter, and I think I'll probably end the episode after we see winter, and hope it doesn't run too long, because, like I said, this is the kind of game that you can really get caught up in if you let it. And whatever, I really like it. Having a lot of fun. You know what? I think I'm gonna have another house built. This is a stone house. It keeps the people who live in it warmer. You want to make sure you don't run out of houses, because I have discovered if you get a bunch of adults, if you run out of houses for children who become adults to move into, they will not get married and hence will stop producing children, and then your population will just go into a constant decline as people get older and you stop producing more children, which means eventually the city's just gonna die out unless you can, you know, get more houses built. And I feel that might maybe be a bit of a beginner's trap, since, you know, how are you supposed to know that it works like that until you actually start playing the game? It does work like that, though, so... You know... Make sure you have plenty of houses. And then there are also boarding houses for when you have people who might be homeless. And another way you can increase your population is via this building. It's called a town hall. And well, actually, you know what? We should probably have the town hall built. It would be a great asset to the fledgling little town of Copperton. Now, of course... Oh, the snow is falling. Yep, it's winter. Winter has begun. Anyways, as you can see, it takes a lot of resources, and currently more stone and iron than we have. Now, in order to deal with that issue, we can create quarries and mines for iron and stone, but at the moment... But those take a while to build, so... Instead, we're going to want to gather those resources. Stop. What? Okay. So all the stone in that area, is there any iron? There is. All of that will be collected by our laborers, but oh, we don't actually have any laborers right now. So here's what we're going to do. No one's going to be working the fields in the winter, so we're going to turn off work at this farm and convert all the farmers from there into laborers, so they can gather the resources we need for our town hall. And the town hall provides you with, you know, important information, like it does a census of your population, overview of, you know, resources and trading, and if you have a town hall and a boarding house, there is a possibility that nomads... Yep, knew that was going to happen. That nomads can appear on the town hall. And the term nomad can be a bit misleading, because these aren't really like, what you would think of as nomads. It's just like a small nuclear family, like 3 or 4 people at a time. And I kind of get the impression that they're probably also banished people. And so there's a chance they can appear, and you can choose whether or not to let them in. And one of the issues with letting them in, other than more resources would be used, is that there is a chance letting in nomads can spread disease. So, another good thing to have when you're about to let them in is a hospital. Because if someone gets a disease, you can heal it. And outbreaks of diseases really don't cause very many problems for you. So that's good. So as you can see, we're running low on stone and iron because we're trying to build this town hall. Though thankfully our laborers have been hard at work producing the necessary ingredients. So anyways, it would appear that the snow is clearing up, and we're still in midwinter, well, late winter now. So it looks like we survived our first winter, which really, it wasn't that difficult. It's still pretty cold, but the snow is clearing up. It has cleared up. It's still snowing, but apparently it's not building up on the ground. That's alright. It's still a really good game. And it's not very expensive on Steam. I would highly recommend it. If you're looking for a good city builder. With kind of a medieval feel, though, again, this isn't a medieval city builder. It's definitely early modern, you know, colonial age, because the crops you have access to are both from Afro-Eurasia and from the Americas, which means the Columbian exchange must already have occurred to allow both types of both types of foods to exist in the same place. Like, for instance, I think there's somewhere you can check and see a full list of all the foods available. I mean, these are only the types of seeds that we actually have, and it looks like the winter is doing a re-emergence. But I'm going to turn work back on here, rehire all of the farmers, because it is spring. Once the snow clears up, they'll get to planting. And all the materials have made it to the town hall. All that's left is some effort put into, working it. You know what, I changed my mind. Let's actually wait just a little bit longer. Get the town hall built. And then we'll call it quits. Might be a good idea to, put someone back on woodcutting duty, but yeah, you know what. It can wait for later. So our builder is putting in manual labor, getting the town hall up and running. And yeah. Survive the first winter. Which really isn't that difficult so long as you have any idea what you're doing. And I probably should just skip ahead to when this thing is done. So anyways, let's see, what else can I talk about while we're waiting for this to finish? Oh! You know what? I just a few hours ago watched Schindler's List. You know, it's a classic Spielberg film. It's a Holocaust film. I'd never seen it before, though, you know, heard good things about it, and I have to say, I am really glad I watched it. It was a really great film. Very sad, but very powerful and touching film, and I would also highly recommend you to watch Schindler's List, unless you're an anti-Semite, in which case, you know, go fuck yourself. But yeah, it was a really, really great movie. I loved it. Yeah. It is about the Holocaust, so, you know, that's something to be aware of. Okay, wow. It's amazing how long things take when you don't put enough people to work on it. I'll reassign you as a gatherer. Anyways, yeah, demographics and stuff like that. So yeah, that was Banished. And if you're looking for a city builder, this I would highly recommend it. It's a really good indie city builder game. Really fun. I know I talked a lot about mechanics and stuff like that, but yeah, it's a fun game. And anyways, I am Lord Revonworc. This has been great, and I will see you all later.